I'm Austin from Yosi Overland. Today we're going to be taking a walk around of this 2026 Host Cascade. We are here at the Yosi Overland dealership showroom in Post Falls, Idaho, and in this video we're going to be taking a quick look at the 2026 Host Cascade double slide truck camper. Before we get into all the features and options for this Cascade model, half of the conversation we have with our customers is about the truck and the other half is about the camper. So let's take a look at what type of truck you would need to mount this on. This is our new shop truck. This is a 2026 GMC 3500 HD dually. It's got an 8-foot bed, the Duramax diesel engine, and the Allison transmission. There's also a few things we've done to the suspension to help it handle better on the road when you have a camper that weighs 4,000 to 5,000 pounds on it. That's including these torque lift upper and lower stable loads. The uppers are gonna help more with torsional stability when you're cornering, and then the lowers are going to activate your overload springs earlier. And when we sat a 5,000 pound truck camper on this bed, it only squatted at about 1.5 inches, which is pretty impressive. So really this torque lift suspension system really helps tighten everything up and give you better handling on the road. You'll notice on these lower torque lift stable loads that they are not fixed in a position. You can take out that little pin and then move them in or out depending on if you have a camper in the back, because otherwise it's going to ride relatively stiff. Host recommends starting with at least a 3500 truck. F450, F550 are great, or from Ram 4500 or 5500. 3500s are doable in a dually as long as you do some suspension upgrades, which we highly recommend. We are an authorized Host dealer. We also can order any of these other models: the Mammoth, the Yukon, the Everest, the Cascade, which we're looking at now, and then the Tahoe. We do have a Tahoe short bed option available if you have a 6.5-foot bed. The rest of the Host line are gonna be for 8-foot beds only. We'll go ahead and start at the front of the camper here, and you'll notice we have these 2-inch rubber bump stops, which will give you a little bit extra cushion when you have it up against your bed. And then we have this door here for access to your water tank. This is a 65-gallon freshwater tank, which is, in the industry, that's pretty much the biggest you can get in a camper this size. All of your wiring is here, so if you need to access and service it, you can do that through this door here. Keep in mind that if you do go full with 65 gallons of fresh water, you are going to be adding about 500 pounds, so something to consider when you're thinking about your payload. Here we have our gravity water fill, and this is just where you fill up your fresh tank from, so this just screws right on here, and this remains locked. Host uses the Rico Titan jack system, and then they also have this addition here, which is a dually swing away bracket. So it allows us to pivot at a 45-degree angle in order to get this swung out to clear your dually fenders and bed. There is also a remote that allows you to lift and lower all 4 legs at once, or any combination of the legs at the same time. I want to spend a little time talking about the slides that Host uses. So most people get a little bit nervous when they see a camper or any type of RV with slide outs on it. The advantage, of course, is that you gain a ton of room in the interior, and that's why we love the Host brand. But the slide out systems on some campers can be a little suspect. Sometimes you can't open or close them until you're completely level. Host uses a very heavy duty slide system that's also used on Beaver coaches. It's a gear-driven system using steel components, and they are very strong. When I called and asked if Host had ever had any problems with their slide outs, they said that they've only had to replace one in 2011 in all the years that they've been open. So it gives you a lot of confidence knowing that the slide system used on Host are intended for a much heavier slide out, and that they'll last for a very long time. On the driver's side of the slide out here, we have our vent for the Dometic furnace, and then our compartment for our black tank. This is where you're gonna drain your black tank from. You'll keep your hose in a separate compartment on the back. And then there's also a provision for your black tank flushing operation to clean your black tank. Finishing off the driver's side slide, we have this compartment here to access our Truma Aqua Go, which is going to provide you with hot water, so you can service all the components in the unit itself from this panel here. Down below, we have this larger compartment, which is an option to be able to store a Honda S2200 generator, a portable generator, if you choose to not get one plumbed in. This one has the off-grid package, which we'll talk about a little bit more later, but other things you have in here are the plumbing for an outside barbecue for propane. You have your outside shower, the control module for your Rico jacks so that you turn it on and you're able to use that remote. It turns off automatically. You've got 110 power here when your inverter's on, and then a provision for a coaxial cable if you want to watch TV. Our 7-pin connector is housed on the front side of the driver's slide right underneath it, and it allows for it to be pulled out and to be tucked in so that when you're loading this into your camper, you don't squish the cable. On the rear of the camper here, we have our gray tank low point drain, as well as our license plate holder with lighting. And then we have our shore power, which we're plugged into currently using a 15 amp adapter. This is rated for 110 volt on 30 amps, but we have an adapter stepped down. This is one of my favorite features of the entire Host camper line, and that is the basement, or sometimes jokingly be called the morgue. So in here you will find your more ride heavy duty slide out tray, as well as a lot of the plumbing, a lot of the electrical, and at the very back, because this has the off-grid system, 600 amp hours of lithium batteries, and then a 3000 watt inverter charger. In order to service your batteries, lithium, or anything that's deeper in this compartment, we found it easiest to remove this slide with 2 people and then crawl in there. You can do it with this slide, but you have to have somebody to push you in and out to make it easier. This is equipped with a ladder to access the roof, to service solar panels or anything on the roof, as well as a rear view camera, which can be connected into your dash. Steps are really easy. You just continue pulling them out in series until it's all the way at the ground, and then you have access into the camper. As the sticker says, these are proudly made in America by American hands. This particular Cascade is equipped with the RV lock, which is a keyless entry system, as well as the Lenda handle, folding handle to provide access up into the camper. On the passenger side, we have our manufacturer's sticker, and the thing I love about Host is that they give the standard weight, which on this unit is $34.98, and then the as equipped with the options that we've selected on this comes out to $42.90 dry. There's an additional battery storage compartment. They specify this is only for lead acid batteries, and then a compartment to store your black tank hose. There are 4 tie-down spots, and we recommend going with torque lift talons and fast guns to secure these to your truck bed. Another option we've added to this camper are exterior speakers, and there is a compartment here to access the 12 volt portion of your fridge. Another nice thing about having a camper this size is that you have enough storage for 2 30-pound cylinders of propane with an automatic changeover. Then if we look on top of the camper, we can see 2 of the 4 200 watt solar panels that provide solar and off-grid capability. Now the most fun part, and where these Hosts really shine. Right when you get in, you have all of your controls for your slide outs and your awning. This is equipped with a passenger side awning that is very generous in terms of the amount of swing that it has, which is really nice because some campers only come out to about here, and then you're gonna be getting rained on if you're trying to sit outside. We've got a battery disconnect switch for storing it for the winter, fire extinguisher right on the right. We've got a microwave convection oven, a 2-burner stove, and then one of the things that a lot of Host owners comment about is the kitchen area. And even though this is one of the smaller models, the sink is just very generous and nice fixtures. You know, you can pull this out and, you know, just very homey, something you'd find in a very nice house, residential. Extra cupboards up here for more storage. This is a very big plus in my opinion. This is a 10 cubic foot Dometic 12 volt refrigerator. It is not 3-way, it runs off of 12 volts, so we do recommend that you select an off-grid package if you're going to use a fridge like this, but the size of this is very comparable, again, to something you'd find in a residential house. We've got 2 shades that you can pull down here, and then tons of storage compartments, and this is actually where the Starlink module is housed, as we've selected the option for Starlink on this unit. We've got a vent fan up top here in the kitchen, smoke detector, extra storage above the theater seating here, and again, something that you will rarely find in any truck campers are leather seats. And these are not just leather seats, they are recliners, so they do fully recline. And that will lean back. Even though it looks tight, there is quite a bit of room to lean back. You can see extra storage here underneath the sink, as well as the control for our Truma Aqua Go, which provides hot water. And here is the view from the reclining seat. Very, very comfortable. We have a 110 heated fireplace unit. We also have a AM/FM radio, USB ports, and then a really nice TV. And then all of this is controlled on the electronic side through this off-grid package. So we've got a 600 amp hour system, 800 watts of solar, our shunt here or monitor showing draw how many days left anticipated depending on load. We have our breaker panel here to access all of the different fuses. We've got our tank monitoring system. Of course, the tanks are empty now. So it's kind of hard to tell, but this whole side here is a slide out. Again, going back to the robust design of this slide system, you would think that this amount of weight would affect the longevity or the integrity of the system, but it does not, because it's designed for slides that carry much more weight than this. We have the L-shaped dinette, and this can be converted into an extra bed. Then we have our full dry bath. So toilet is perched up here, nice sink and mirror. And then my favorite feature is this really nice, again, probably nicer than the one I have at home, shower here. So it's all one piece, really, really luxurious, and tons of space. Wet baths are, because of space, the reason that they do them. We have enough space since we have slide outs, so why not put a nice big shower in here. Another large window with a solar cool protection on the glass and shades that can go up or down. Vent, of course, in the bathroom. This is a swiveling table, which is nice to be able to maneuver it. And if you really wanted, if you're running out of space on the counter and you're cooking a lot, say you're cooking a Thanksgiving dinner, and you could use this as an extra prep space. And the grand finale, here we are in the master bedroom. Well, the only bedroom, but very comfortable queen size bed in here. We have a corner wardrobe, windows on both sides, and then this is the hatch. You can access your roof from here as well, but this is the necessary escape point that they've put in. You've got USB charging stations and lights for him and her. You've got another corner wardrobe over here with extra compartments for storage. There is also a vent here for your AC, so if you want to just be lounging in bed on a hot day in here and running your AC, you do get it back here in the bed area. This has a RecBro 13,500 BTU unit in it, and it cools this down very quickly. Keep in mind that you will see a lot more draw than anything else from the AC unit, so it is recommended to go with an off-grid package and or a generator. And it might be hard to tell from the camera, but this is, in my opinion, the best truck camper. Of course, you do need the truck to support it. In terms of luxury, in terms of space and just comfort, there is nothing, in my opinion, that matches this. This is just very, very, you feel like you're in a hotel or a really nice condo. And I haven't seen a whole lot of other truck campers that can compete with this. So we're huge fans of the entire Host line. This is the Cascade. We have this available at Yosi Overland. You can call for current pricing. Well, that concludes the walk around of this 2026 Host Cascade double slide model. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. My name is Austin St. Onge. I'm the General Sales Manager here at Yosi Overland. Please feel free to call if you have any questions or are curious about ordering a Host.